Hello YouTube, I am the Mac and welcome to another session of the TCG Enterprise where we talk about all your favorite card games. So you guys, we're going to go ahead and take a small U-turn around and we're going to go ahead and take a blast from the past. And by blast from the past I mean we're going to go ahead and go with a little bit of an anime style. With the anime trend I like to go with the first deck that we all know and love. For those who ended up not getting the deck, well, that's alright. But for me, personally, when I was a kid, I first had this deck. So let's get on into it. This is marked down from 40 cards, and I basically crunched in every card that I could possible into this deck as best as I could possible. If I did leave some things out, that was trying not to be intentional, but it happened to be that way just because. But I could always update the facts any way that I want to. Just comment down below any opinions. And in any case, we're going to be going with Yugi's deck. So, first monster we're going to go with is, of course, Slifer the Sky Dragon. This was in Battle City, one of the Egyptian god cards, one of the best Egyptian god cards in my personal opinion. Gets an attack boost, which is awesome based off the cards that are in your hand. The amount of cards equals his strength, which is great. Very, very beastly. And when another monster is special summoned onto the field, then you can cut the stats onto that. It'll lose 2,000 attack, I believe, which is really good. Sorry for the glare if you catch it. Next monster is the Dark Magician. One of the best signatures you could possibly think of in regards towards this game. Definitely Yugi's signature monster. Has a 25 by 21. Very good. He brought this out literally in the first episode, and it's always been around ever since. So definitely a good resource to have in the game. Then we have our Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. This is really good. He went with a ritual version. That's fine. I wanted to cut it down so we don't have the ritual version in here. We have this one, which is still just as good. You can double up its attack, and then you can also banish one face-up monster onto the field, which is really good. That definitely helps out in our gameplays. Then we also have one Magician of Chaos. As I said before, no rituals. We're just going to go with a straightforward versions. During the end phase onto this, if this was a normal summon or special summon to the turn, you can target one spell card in the graveyard and add it to your hand. This helps out a lot. Especially since we're going to be having more cards of Magicians in our lineups. Next we have one Obnoxious Celtic Guard. He had Celtic Guardian, then he boosted up to Obnoxious Celtic Guard. I personally like this one because it basically stops off things that are 1900 attack or more, which is really good. But the damage calculation is still applied, but that's still good nonetheless. Then we have one skill, Dark Magician. This helps out a lot, especially when you remove out from the 3 and you can get your Dark Magician, which is really good. You can get it from the hand, field, or grave. Next, we have the Tricky. This is really cool. I honestly like the Tricky. It's really fun. You can special summon this card from the hand by discarding one card, which helps out a lot, considering the fact that if you want to go ahead and discard your Dark Magician, get out the Tricky, you want to go ahead and boost up on towards your skill Dark Magician, and then bring back your Dark Magician from the graveyard. Or you want to use any other spell that revives him, which helps out a lot. Then we have one Swift Gaia, the Fierce Knight. This is better than its original counterpart. If this is the only card in your hand, you can normal summon it without tributing. What more could you ask for from this guy? It's actually very, very good. Then we are going to be going with one Buster Blader. Buster Blader is very good, especially against regular dragon decks. Has a 26 attack, but then he'll also gain 500 attack for every dragon monster that your opponent controls or is in their graveyard, which helps out immensely with the current state. If you're going to be going against anime decks versus anime decks, that always helps out a lot. Next up on towards our lineup, we are going to be going with one Summon Skull. There's another signature monster that he ended up having, which helps out a lot. I really like his attack boost to 25. Even though he has a small defense, that's okay. Most of the Archfiends do anyway. But nonetheless, it's really good. And it's always treated as an Archfiend card. Then we have one Big Shell Gardener. Has a really nice defense of a 26. If it gets hit, then it goes switch into attack position, but that's okay. One Baphomet, always helpful. Also brings out your Gazelle, the king of the mythical beasts. And yes, we do have the fusion in here. One Kuribo, the most annoying card that you could possibly have in the game, but it does help. Sets up for your token base on your defense. You could also send it from the hand to go ahead and get more advantage as far as your defense goes to take out for 0 attack on an attack of your opponent's monster. One Magician's Valkyria. When the opponent's monster selects another spellcaster as an effect, as an attack target, they cannot, which is really good. I might actually double this up and put a second one in just because of that factor alone. We can have a lockdown, which really, really helps. Then we have one Breaker with a Magical Warrior. It'll get an attack boost, but the moment that you remove out the counter, you can pop something on the field, which helps out a lot. One Dark Magician Girl. Because we have Magician of Chaos, and because we also have Dark Magician, this helps out a lot. It'll get an attack boost based off of that, plus 300. Next up on our lineup, we have one Mystical Elf. Has a nice defense of 2,000, which helps out a lot. Used that a lot in the first episodes of the anime. One Electromagnetic Turtle. This helps out pretty good. During your opponent's battle phase, they banish this card from the graveyard, and then the battle phase, it has a quick effect. You can only use the effect of that once per turn, which basically you end the battle phase, which helps out pretty good. It has a high defensive factor of taking no damage. Then we have one Wadapon. Wadapon is really good. If it gets added to the hand by a card effect, special summon this card. This is perfect for tributing. I'm going with the one package that I personally feel is pretty good, but you guys could go ahead and debate on towards that. I know you guys like the Royalty package. I'm going with the Magnet Warrior package. So I'm going to be going with one Alpha, the Magnet Warrior, one Beta, Magnet Warrior, and one Gamma, Magnet Warrior. All to bring out Valkyrian, the Magnet Warrior. If you got all the 3 of these guys, you can bring this guy out. If this guy dies, all 3 come back, which is really good. So that's it for our monster lineup. It's not too bad. It's a pretty solid factor. If you guys want to do your Royal package, that's fine. You guys can go with your King's Knight, Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight, whatever have you. Which, by the way, they're also going to be getting new support sometime soon. Anywho, we're going to go with our spells. So our spells, we have one Graceful Charity. Unfortunately, it's still banned, but that's okay. We could run it in this way. Why? Because it's an anime deck. Anyways, you draw out for your 3 cards, you discard 2 cards. This helps out a lot. We have one Magical Dimension. Why? Because it helps for your spellcaster types and you add it to your hand. Special summon it from your hand, actually. So this helps out a lot. Especially since we run a really good lineup as regards towards all of our spellcasters. One Swords of Revealing Light. Classic Swords of Revealing Light. They always had Swords of Revealing Light. Almost every single person ran Swords of Revealing Light, especially Joey. For some surprising reason that he did not have that in the first season. But yeah, he ran that in the second season. Go figure. One Mystical Space Typhoon, one of the most controversial cards in the game today, but at the same time, surprisingly enough, this got introduced in like the 3rd season of Yu-Gi-Oh! When it's been there the whole time. But, I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's very good though. Destroy one spell card or trap card on the field. One Monster Reborn, we like to have nice things come back, especially for our Monster Reborn. We could also target our opponent's stuff, which is really nice. One Diffusion Wave Motion. Okay, this is very, very good. A lot of people don't like this card, but that's okay. You pay 1,000. Target a level 7 or higher spellcaster that you control. This turn only that monster can attack and must attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Then the effects of all effective monsters destroyed by those do not get activated and they are negated. This is actually very, very good. A lot of people don't like it, but that's, you know, their opinion. Also, classic, but yet the most controversial card in the game because it does not do what it stated in the anime. In the anime, they stated for Card of Sanctity that you draw until you have 6 cards. This one, however, you banish all other cards you control and in your hand, minimum 1 each. Then you draw until you have 2 cards in your hand. What? Next, we have 1 magic formula. Why? Because we have spellcasters, and because we have Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, it'll gain 700 attack. It's a nice little attack boost for them. It helps them out. Then, next up on towards our spell lineups, we're going to be running a lot of spells in here, by the way. Keep in mind, as I said, these are 40 cards. We have Dark Magic Curtain. This helps out. Pay half your life points to special summon a Dark Magician from your deck. You can special summon monsters the other turn, or during the turn that you activate this spell. But that's alright. But you can still set, which just helps. Gets for a little good on your defense if you want to put things into defense mode. Well, Polymerization. Classic Polymerization, by the way. I like this version better than the regular other version that they got. I don't really like that version. I like this one better. This is classic. Very hardcore to the art. I like it. 1 Pot of Greed. What does it do? Draw 2 cards. That's what you do. 1 Diffusion. This is one of the most wildest cards that I've ever seen. Especially if it's used onto a Blue Eyes Ultimate. That's very nasty. You get 3 Blue Eyes out. But we could use this towards ours. The things that we run in here, we only have a small package as far as the extra deck goes. But we could always add more based off what you guys want to have as your preference. You guys are free to decide. That's it for our spell lineup. Now on towards our traps. For our traps, we're going to be going with 1 Mirror Force. Classic Mirror Force. Yugi always used a Mirror Force, even though it was weird when he used it into the first episode when he faced off against Weevil, because it hit all of their monsters and then he took damage based off their reflective. I don't understand that. But then again, it's, you know, Duelist Kingdom, and they had their weird rules in regards towards card effects. And I guess you take the damage from the card effects, which didn't really make much sense. But whatever. Anyways, this destroys all monsters that are attacking on your opponent's field, which is really good. And even if they didn't attack, they're still in attack position, so it destroys all those. 1 Dust Tornado, very good, and you can also set while you activate this, which helps out a lot. Destroys a spell or trap on the field. Magic Cylinder helps out a lot, especially if you got something really big. That you can go ahead and redirect the attack back and have your opponent lose life points equal to the monster's attack, which is really good. 1 Spellbinding Circle basically renders one of your opponent's monsters useless. They cannot attack, which helps. And that's it for our traps. This is a small number of traps. I know there's more, but like I said, I'm trying to keep this thing down to 40 cards. On towards our extra deck, we're going to only have 2 cards. We are going to be going with the Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast. Why? Because we have Gazelle and because we have Birth Ferment. Also, considering the fact that if this thing dies, then you can target 1 Birth Ferment or 1 Gazelle from your graveyard, and you can special summon the target. Me, primarily, I would like to go with Birth Ferment just because it has a nice attack boost of 18, but that's just my preference. And then, of course, we're going to be going with 1 Dark Paladin. Why? Because we have Buster Blader, and also because we run the Dark Magician. This is also perfect for the Diffused Wave Motion Cannon. This is, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong card, I'm sorry. This is perfect for the Diffusion Wave Motion, sorry. But basically this will basically allow it to come out. And this is basically what he also did in Battle City against Kaiba, which helps out a lot. This will get the same thing as far as the dragon types onto the field, and into the graveyard it gets the attack boost on towards that. And then on either player's turn, when the spell card is activated, you can discard 1 card and negate the activation and destroy it. So that's basically it for the deck. There's no side deck. There's no other honorable mentions. Well, I guess you kind of could say. There is the Curse of Dragon. There's also the Royalty Package, as well as Giant Soldier of Stone, and all the other kind of things. But if you guys like what you saw here, please go ahead and like and subscribe for more, and hit that post notification bell so you can see what next things are going to be put up on towards the channel. If you guys want to see more anime decks, hey, hit down below and give an exclamation. We want anime decks, and I will go ahead and make it happen. I will give you every character possible. But if you guys like here, I'll see you guys in the next time with more. Take care and happy gaming.